live broadcast on cash bail refunds, brought to you by the Judiciary Uganda. I'm Idris Batu Sagawa. Now, this dialogue has been compelled by the numerous complaints received by the Judiciary concerning cash bail refunds. Now, the complaints include, but not limited to, delays, failure to recover, ignorance of procedure for recovery, and lack of awareness that cash bail deposits are indeed recoverable. In studio, I have a highly educated panel that is going to disseminate this information to you, but to be part of the conversation, you can go to our social media platforms, that is NTV Uganda. Look out for us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Just type in NTV Uganda and you should be part of the conversation. Right now, I want to introduce the panel that is highly educated and highly capable, and I know they are highly able to introduce themselves. I'll start with the gentleman who Canon, kindly introduce yourself to our public.
Well, hello viewers, good afternoon and Happy New Year. We bring you greetings from the Judiciary, from the top management to everybody who loves Ugandans, and we are here to serve you people. We are glad to be invited here. My names are James Seremia Jumire Mawanda, and I'm the Public Relations Officer for the Judiciary. Let us partake of the knowledge about bail.
Indeed. And bail. Canon, without forgetting that title, it's very important. His worship first, please.
Yes, good afternoon, viewers. Good afternoon. My name is Feston Senga. I'm a Deputy Registrar of the High Court attached to the Criminal Division, and I'm glad to be here, and I thank NTV for hosting us. And I hope we shall be able to share some knowledge with our court users and the
Indeed.
Out there, yeah.
And the criminals out there, they should learn a few things.
No, they are Ugandans.
Criminals are in prison. We educate them through other means. But they also watch TV. And
indeed, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, in New Zealand now, I'm sure they are listening.
Yeah,
they are watching.
In case they get a second chance,
my dear, criminal is one who has been convicted. Yes, who has been found guilty by a court.
Indeed.
Of competent jurisdiction.
List but not least.
Good afternoon, viewers. I'm Ronald Kaizi, Chief Magistrate of Uganda Road Court, formerly the only criminal court in the country. We have just started civil this year. Nice to be here.
Indeed, nice to have you. And I will remind you, viewers, that you can be part of this conversation. Go to our social media platforms. Look out for NTV Uganda. That is on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And also go to our website, which is www.ntv.co.ug, and you'll be able to follow this conversation live. Now, first of all, I'll go to Canon, His Worship, James Eremie Jumire Mawanda.
Yes.
Could you tell us about the Judiciary Uganda? Because so many people are not really aware of this arm of government, what you do, what your mandate is.
Oh, thank you very much. Like you have said, we appreciate that knowledge you acquire it every day. You even renew. So Ugandans need to know that Uganda as a government, and the government is constituted of three arms of government. We have the executive, we have the legislature, we have the judiciary. And the judiciary's mandate is administration of justice. When you look at the Constitution under Article 126, judicial power is derived from the people, and we exercise it in accordance with the law. Who makes the law? It's Parliament. Aspirations, values, and norms of the people. You get the point? So, when it comes to the administration of justice, protection of liberties, human rights, etc., we are the custodians. And we want to rally Ugandans to always support this very fundamental arm of government, because that's where everything to do with justice rotates. But we don't do it in isolation. We do it with also other arms of government. We work with the Parliament because they appropriate funds that we use. We work with the executive because the executive has a lot of play to manage us in terms of appointments, etc. And other government agencies, the police or DPP, prisons, and local government. I don't want to forget the Mwananchi. The citizen of Uganda is a very central part of the administration of justice. So today, if a Ugandan, you're out there and you're wondering, what's the judiciary? Judiciary is an arm of government. Oftentimes people call it third arm. Oh, no, we don't have a first, second, or third.
It's only one arm.
It is an arm of government. Like you have a cooking place. You can't cook food on one or only on two, except if you want to create your own design. There are always 3 stones, and that will make the perfect meal you want to eat. So that's the judiciary, and we are happy to be here to continue sensitizing our people about the processes, the law, and procedures in the courts. And today we want to unpack the question of bail. Very controversial. People have failed to understand what bail is.
Indeed. And so many people even today,
they fail to understand.
Do not know what it is.
They don't know. Some think that it is a right. Some think, some don't even know how even to apply for it.
His Worship, on that note, let's start with the question. What is bail?
Bail is a pre-trial remedy. When you are charged with a criminal offense before any court of law, there are so many issues that may still be pending to kickstart your trial. So for you to have your liberty outside prison or any institution of custody, you have a right to apply for bail. And the bail simply is a pre-trial remedy granted to a person who is charged with a criminal offense to be released out of custody, return home, and everywhere the court requires his attendance. He comes from home, he comes to court, the court listens to his matter, including the trial up to its conclusion when you are coming from home. Why is bail necessary? Because of the presumption of innocence. You know, every person charged with a criminal offense shall be presumed innocent until proved guilty, or until himself pleads guilty to the charges. So because of that presumption, bail comes in handy. At the soonest opportunity you appear before court. You can apply for court the first time you appear in court. If it is denied, you can even reapply the subsequent times you appear in that court, provided you were not granted that bail. So you have all opportunity to apply at all times, immediately at the commencement of the trial, or for your arraignment when you come take plea, or during the hearing of the case, but before the judgment. So that's bail. And bail is both cash or non-cash. And the decision to decide how much money you are going to pay for bail is in the discretion of the court, the trial judge, trial magistrate. So you can decide, say it will be cash or it will be non-cash. So that is the bail. And many people have received this bail. Some of them have even abused it. And the courts, when you abuse a court process, the court reserves the right, can cancel it on good grounds or good reason given. You see? Then there is that other thing called mandatory bail. So all these, our Ugandans today, we want you to give us your ears. I have come with the gurus. I have the Chief Magistrate.
The army.
Yes, Chief Magistrate Uganda Road on my left, and I have the Registrar Criminal Division.
Indeed.
To unpack that concept called the bail.
And on that note, thank you so much, His Worship Canon. I will go to His Worship Ronald Kaizi, the Magistrate of Buganda Road.
Chief Magistrate.
Chief Magistrate.
Yes, Chief
Indeed.
Magistrate.
Pardon my mistake. Chief Magistrate, the canon has mentioned a little bit of what bail is and who can pay this bail, and the little, probably the kinds of bail, the non-cash and cash bail. Where does one have to pay the bail, and who indeed qualifies to pay this bail? Because if I'm convicted, does it have to be me to pay the bail, or can someone else pay the bail on my behalf?
Thank you very much. It all starts with, where do you apply for bail? You can apply for bail in the magistrate's court before the magistrate handling your file.
Yeah.
It can be magistrate to grade 1, it can be magistrate to grade 2, it can be chief magistrate. So where a case is heard by the chief magistrate, a magistrate grade 1 or grade 2, you apply for bail in those courts, even if it's chief magistrate. If a case filed by the high court, rape, defilement, aggravated defilement, robbery, then you apply for bail in the high court. And depends on which division also. Trafficking in persons, terrorism, that is IC, Internal Crimes Division. The other offenses is division, criminal division. When a magistrate grade 1 denies you bail, you have a right to apply to the chief magistrate before you go to the high court, because he has those powers to review the bail terms of the grade 1s. So don't rush the high court, they'll send you back. The High Court has made that decision in the famous case of Dr. Kizabesige, when he was ordered to pay 30 million, and when the High Court director, I told him, no, please, you should have gone back to the Chief Magistrate. So, where do you pay? Depending, you have to, bail must be paid in the bank. We have now moved to a step where you can pay bail on mobile money, because we have now embraced IKIMIS or IKIMIS. So for me, I will see that when you pay online, I will see money and I will confirm the payment.
Yes.
So we can pay money in the bank, we can pay money online using any mode with IKIMIS. It's very, very possible. Never pay money in the corridors. That money is not official money. Never pay money to judicial officers. That money is not official money, and you can never claim it. Even if it's 100 million, you will never get it. So who pays now? The bail must be paid in the names of the accused at all times. So if we're surety for that person and you are going to the bank, you go to the bank on his behalf. That's very, very clear. We have had instances at Uganda Road where the sureties have paid money in their names and they have told them, sorry, please pay again. But this time, in the names of the accused person. I think that answers your question.
Who is a surety again? Because that term might be confusing.
A surety is that person who is not an accused person, but makes an undertaking with the court that will ensure that the accused person attends trial. So he signs an undertaking. On the bail bond form, there's a part where the accused person signs, he makes his undertaking to attend court, and there's also down there where the surety signs that he undertakes to ensure that this person attends court. And if he doesn't, he undertakes to pay government of Uganda the court bond, that non-cash you see there. You don't, the man absconds, you pay it. It becomes cash upon the accused person refusing or failing to honor the bail terms when it does come to court. So the surety is that person who makes undertaking that will ensure that the accused person attends court.
You know, I think most Ugandans are either afraid of the law or they find it very complicated. And there is something interesting that I have heard of people question and wonder, can I, if I'm taken into custody, can I pay bail at the police station?
No. When do you pay bail then? You pay bail when you have been presented to court only as an accused person. You have taken plea, denied the charges, court has explained your right to apply for bail, you have sureties, Because sometimes you don't need sureties. Court can grant you bail on your own cognizance. People should understand that for you to be released on bail, it's not necessary that you should at all times have sureties. Yeah. Therefore, who are coming in court, for example, you say an accused person is really very sick, he should seek medical treatment, and the court says, no, this person should really be released on bail on his own cognizance. So you undertake to appear yourself without sureties. So it's until court has granted you bail and set terms, that's when you pay. It may be not cash, then you don't have to pay. If it is cash, then you pay.
His Worship, on that note, what does court consider when granting bail?
The bail guidelines, paragraph 12, is very, I think 13, is very, very, very clear on what court should consider. One of them is the nature of the offense. How serious is this offense? 2, do you have sureties in court, and are they substantial sureties? 3, did the case involve violence? Would you interfere with the witnesses? The people are going to release and they are going to say to intimidate witnesses and they will never appear. What are the antecedents? How have you behaved before? Will you be safe out there? There are people who may release and they are reached by the society. So will you be safe, or you are safer in prison? We need court considers also that. 2, is the community safe? They can bring someone in court, for example, someone has masquerading as a doctor in different places, and people believe that he's a doctor, and people have died in his hands, for according to the evidence that is on court. So will the community be safer with you in prison? So there are quite a number of things that we consider, but when we look at the bail guidelines, they are very, very, very clear.
So in case of a denial, is there a way I can reapply for the bail?
Thank you very much. It depends. If, as I said earlier, if a magistrate grade 1 denies you bail, you apply the Chief Magistrate Review. If the High Court denies you bail, you don't have a right of appeal to the Court of Appeal. That's what the Court of Appeal has decided in the case of Seglinya and Sewanyana. You have to go back to the High Court and reapply for bail.
That's the only way?
Yes.
His Worship, Feston Senga, yes. I want to bring you into the conversation. We've talked about, and your fellow magistrates have mentioned cash bail.
Yes.
And then non-cash bail.
Yes.
What are these non-cash bails, and what is the difference? And when is it considered to either pay cash or non-cash?
I have a friend who jokes that we ask for non-cash bail that is cash. So it's
non-cash, but it's cash.
When I meet him, I said, how many non-cash bail, but cash bail have you granted? That's what His Worship was saying.
Yes.
Desist from paying cash. Nowadays, we have automated, the systems have been created, you deposit the money on bank accounts. And as he says, in the name of the applicant.
Yes.
And let me take you a little bit back because of the question, one of the questions you asked. Allow me to take you a little bit back. You asked about police bond and court bail. What is the difference? As canon says, every person is presumed innocent until you go through a court process and you're found guilty. If you are suspected or accused of committing an offense of the crime. Where do criminal cases begin at police? Every criminal case goes to police. Reported to police, police either intervenes by summoning you or by arresting you. If you are taken into police custody, you have 48 hours. According to the Constitution, police has 48 hours to produce you in a court of law. If not, they should release you on police bond. Okay? And police bond is free. I think maybe you'll invite someone from police here.
Indeed.
That's an area of complaint. People always complain that and ask that question. Unlike bail, police bond, there is no cash bond. It is always free. Okay? Now, if your case escalates from police, it goes to court, His Worship has gone through, His Worship case has gone through the process. You are charged, blah, blah, and then you can apply for bail. So bail is temporary release from, because when you go to court, you may end up in prison even before your case is heard, as the canon tried to explain to you. Yet the Constitution says everyone is presumed innocent. The Constitution says everyone is entitled to liberty, to right to liberty, until that right is taken away through a legal process. So the ideal would be that everyone suspected or accused of committing a crime should be tried when they are coming from their homes. Okay? In some countries, I think they are almost there. But here, because we have very many challenges, we don't have addresses, people shift. So at times you are put in custody because of the considerations His Worship Kais talked about. Are you going to, but there are principally two. One, are you going to be in court when you are required? Then two, are you going to interfere with the case in any way? You know, I think are the broad considerations that court looks at. The other would be now the antecedents. So you're asking the difference between cash bail?
Cash and non-cash.
Now, cash bail is when you pay money as security. You know, when court grants you bail, it will grant you bail on certain conditions. Now, cash, among the conditions, you will be required to present some kind of form of security to guarantee that you return when you are required. Yes. So that's when the bail comes in. That's when sureties come in. Sureties will be people who are capable of compelling you to appear in court. Okay? They are capable. So usually we look for members of society of high standing, people who are closely related to one or another, but people also have control, who can be able to exert control over you, you the applicant, so that they can compel you to appear. Now, at times, court will say, because of the nature of the case, and maybe because of your own nature and circumstances, no, deposit the money with the belief that that security will compel you to continue. You not
to come back for your court case.
So that is cash bail. One thing the viewers out there should know is that cash bail is a deposit. It is security money, it is deposit, it is your money. As long as you abide by the conditions given by court and you report when required, when the case ends, you are entitled to a refund of your money. Even if you are sent to prison, you are convicted, you are entitled to a refund of your money. It's only when you've absconded and run away and you are arrested, then that money is forfeited. And as His Worship Kaize has said, we have simplified work for court users out there. We have these bail guidelines of 2022 issued by the Honorable Chief Justice. They have forms. We have a form here which you use to apply for your bail refund. So we have simplified. You go to a court register and you ask. Once your case is over, you fill this form and apply for bail refund. One thing you must do, you must remember to do if you have deposited your cash bail is, one, when the case ends, you need to ask the judicial officer who has tried you to issue an order for your bail refund. Because that money is deposited by way of court order, so we require another court order to reverse the transaction. Two, whatever documents you receive from court, because normally they give a bail bond form on which the judicial officers will be signing to record your attendance. Then they may give you because they issue a general receipt to you once you bring proof of payment in the bank. So if court does not retain, they may give you a copy of that receipt according to these guidelines. But at times, in practice, at times people go with the receipts. If you go with it, please keep it, because when you come for your refund, we shall require you to surrender, and then to bring the other bail bond form to show that you have been attending.
And then, if you weren't attending, then
if you aren't attending,
you do not qualify
then you may not qualify. Your money may be forfeited to the tax man. So when you come, we ask you to simply fill this form. You attach those documents I've talked about, and then you give us. We also don't deal in cash when you are paying back. So you give us a bank account. There are people there who may not be having bank accounts of their own. You can get from someone close to you, a relative, a friend, use their bank account. Then you fill the form, you bring back those documents, then you shall process your money and you sit on the bank. Now, non-cash bail, court has a liberty, as His Worship Kaizi said, to give you what we call a court bond, depending on many circumstances.
Court
again.
bond.
Court bond. That is a bail where you don't pay. So this time around they tell you, we are giving you court bond of 5 million, but you don't pay it. You only pay it again if you run away. If you run away and we get you, the first thing we shall ask is pay the
court bond.
The court bond is taxman's money. And of course, sureties usually also are given bond, are given court bond. And again, for them, if you abscond or abuse your bail terms, then sureties also be called and you say, you stood for this gentleman already, the person disappeared and you committed, because you sign these commitments that you pay this money if the person disappears, and then you are made to pay.
So the bond, is it a piece of paper? What
yes, it's a piece of paper you sign. It's a form, it's a form.
We are talking to Ugandans who have never experienced these things.
Let me see if we have these forms here. But they are forms you sign.
How do I qualify for court bond instead of cash?
That is something called discretion.
To the chief magistrate.
You persuade either the magistrate or the judge. Before you appearing,
you plead your case.
But it also gets back to the nature of the offense.
Yes.
And the state in which the accused person is. There was a gentleman who has been on remand. The matter was very serious. But he came to my court and he had fallen in the bathroom in Luzira, and he had hit his head badly. I looked at the man, I said, no, you man, go without sureties. And unfortunately, the man has never come back.
But what I want to add on is that as a judiciary, we don't work in the void. We are working in this country, and we are telling our judicial officers to apply a human face.
Indeed.
Okay? The humility when we are taking these decisions. So oftentimes, and specifically to answer to how do I determine cash or non-cash? If it is cash, the judicial officer is skilled enough to appreciate the means,
indeed,
okay, of our people, to be able to tell this one can afford this amount of money. Of course, we are scaling them to appreciate that our society, majority are poor, okay, and so when they come before the courts, the justice will demand that we apply a human face in making some of these orders. Of course, you have had some extremes, which are a one-off, and of course, corrective measures have also been taken. Okay, so if surely a judicial officer looks at this elderly woman possessed of perhaps no means, they would definitely want to give a court bond. Okay, provided
like the one who
provided other factors are constant. She is not a flight risk. She's not running anywhere. As summed up, she is not even likely to interfere with witnesses. She's just from here.
Yeah.
She's known. Okay, so those are the considerations that we are encouraging and ensuring we inculcate in our culture of management of bail. And judicial officers, in our trainings, inductions, and all other scaling programs, we ensure that we keep on reminding them. And the guidelines which my brother Festo has talked about is a document which was issued by the Honorable Chief Justice to guide, and to answer those specific issues. It's very disheartening when some people out there misunderstand the import and objectives of these guidelines. They are very, very wonderful when you read them and appreciate them.
And
that's why we even had to put those forms, so that our people should not find difficulty. Just get the form, fill in the information, and you will be attended to.
His Worship.
Actually, the guidelines has two forms. In Schedule 1, you have the bail bond form, so you don't have to labor to filling this. Looking for to say the form will guide you, you fill it. And
you simply have to fill in your information.
And the staff at court will assist you.
Indeed.
Then when you come for your refund, again, Schedule 2 has a form you'll fill, and then you will again be assisted.
All right.
There is something which you mentioned slightly. What if I don't return?
Like
and he has even said it.
Yeah,
you can imagine
ran off.
Abuse of court process.
Indeed.
The court gave you a chance. You're charged with this offense, but the circumstances, the judicial officer applied discretion to grant you court bond. Surely, why shouldn't you come to court back?
Maybe death.
Death
could be a reason. The man might have died, and
information will always come. Information will always come. There are people who we call complainants, but a complainant is continuously coming to court, and these are some of the aspects which cause us bad names. Perceived corruption. The complainant will not understand that that was an exercise of perfect discretion.
Humanity. Indeed.
Applying a human face to this wounded person brought before the court. The complainants will always think, no wonder he was just released and he's out there. The complainants will tell court, this man is at home. Now when we arrest such a person, because the court will issue summons for his appearance and show cause. Why didn't you appear? Why have you not been coming? Oh, I have been nursing my wound. I have not been okay. Fine. Next time may warn you. But now those who have been issued with cash bails and they abscond, that the court, if there is no just cause or reasons given to the court will always cancel that bail. That's why you hear people, I was on bail, but for some reasons I didn't go back to court for some time. I was arrested, and when I went to court, the court cancelled my bail. The court just doesn't just cancel. First give you an opportunity to explain why you were unable to. But if you give reasons that surely show you just wanted to evade justice, the court may choose to say, now for you, you're a flight risk. Let us keep you here and proceed with the trial. The court, upon taking such a decision, may also order that your bail is forfeited to the state. So when the case is finally concluded, you cannot apply for a refund, because an order already for forfeiture.
Your bail was cancelled and
forfeiture was issued, and so that money goes into the consolidated fund.
Indeed. And at this juncture, I want to come back to His Worship, Ronald Kaizi. One of the measures that are there to make sure that these people actually return to court is the surety. What are some of those qualifiers for someone to be a surety? When does one stop being a surety? And if this person runs off like that gentleman that you really gave a chance to go and take care of himself and he didn't return, what happens to me if I was the surety to that person?
Lucky enough, we had no surety because he was in bad shape.
Unfortunately.
But paragraph 15 of the bail guidelines gives court what should consider to find a surety suitable or not. One of them is the age. How old is the surety? How old are you? Someone below 21 years is not a very good surety. He's not working. Even if he's working, it may not be very good. Two, what do you do? The case, the High Court in Uganda versus Aganyire, the court has said that we should consider this person's capacity to pay the that non-cash, that bond. So you must be working, gainfully employed. What else? How are you relationship with the accused person? This, are your wife, are your mother, are your father, are your friend. So that this relationship enables us to determine as whether you can compel that person to appear,
actually
to return.
upheld.
For, imagine a young brother
Comparing the old
comparing the old one to appear. There was I had a case where I had a case in Uganda Road, and the mother-in-law was standing for the son-in-law, and they were Baganda. So I was asking Mama, will you touch that man and compare him to come? Because culturally you cannot touch.
You cannot touch, yes.
So
carry him,
Becomes complicated.
Carry
it becomes
him by-
complicated to compel.
carry him by the belt.
So those are some of the issues that we do consider to find a surety for. So what happens if somebody absconds? When somebody absconds, that non-cash bond becomes payable. We will summon you to court, appear, ask you where this person is. You tell us you don't know. We tell you, we are giving you 2 weeks. Please go and look for the person and bring him.
Return.
You return. Another 1 week, if a magistrate is lenient, as what was said, that you manifest. And if you fail, then we say, you know what? Either pay the bond or go to reserve for 6 months.
Me, the surety.
Yes.
Yes.
Oof.
It's serious, yes.
Because now a civil debt for the state.
Actually, we have an old man who has been in Luzira for, we have like 2. Who have been in Luzira for a couple of months because they could not
They
raise
failed
this.
to
Yeah,
raise
when I was
They were
still
there
a
for some
trial
time, but they
magistrate,
failed eventually.
I did that a lot. And do you know the reasoning? Kampala, where his court is centered, and the High Court, we have these professional sureties have done a great deal to malign the administration of justice. Their role is simply to be paid to stand surety. Because the contract between them, the illegal contract between them is come and stand for me so that I can disappear. Now, the action as explained by my brother Ronald is should that person fail and you have no just cause why you have failed to produce them, then pay. He paid that money.
And I can tell you, I ordered a lady to pay 50 million cash, the bond. The son absconded and ran away to UK. And she paid. She was in prison until she paid 50 million. So people should not take this bond lightly. And I've told people, if you are not ready, if you are not ready to compel the person to appear in court to stand trial, please don't stand as surety, because you're going to have problems. So, but this person can also discharge him, cannot ask court to discharge him if he senses danger. When you realize that this person is becoming slippery, is planning to fly out of the country, is chasing papers, when he appears in court, raise up your hand and say, Your Worship, my Lord, I want to be discharged.
Because
as a surety of this.
So for these reasons, once that happens, the court will now remand that person, discharge you, and tell him to bring another surety. So when you sense danger, don't go, don't panic. But you have to ensure that you only apply for discharge when the person is in court.
I can't come without the...
You told me you would bring. So we want both of you there. So you ensure that when the day appears, you also appear and apply for discharge. It's very, very important. People should learn that. Don't panic when somebody chasing documents to go out of the country. Apply for discharge when he's in court. Yes. Being
a surety seems like a very heavy responsibility.
It is.
Apart from me making sure that this convicted person or accused person comes to court, what other responsibilities do I have as a surety?
That's your primary responsibility, to ensure that this person, you signed an undertaking with the court that you ensure that this person attends trial.
You see, the moment you come into the realm of the court, you assume duties and responsibilities. Ugandans have failed to understand that they are part of the causes of case backlog in our courts. Ugandans, particularly in the criminal justice system, the type of sureties we have had have led to many of our cases in our systems stay on warrant of arrest because an accused person has absconded for long times because sureties have not performed their responsibility. Because the sureties were the professional type. And these cases, the judicial officers are mindful of the interests of justice to the injured party. The victims of this crime will continuously adjourn these matters with the hope that the state, the police, will trace and arrest the person and bring them back to court. And that, when we were doing our census, we are also interested. Just last week we had a national court case census, and one of the issues we want to look at are the nature and stages of some of those cases, and the cases on warrant of arrest constitute almost 80% of our backlog. And Ugandans are asking us, why are you not working on this backlog? Why is there too much backlog? We want to now give statistics to show how Ugandans, in the name of sureties, have contributed directly to this kind of case backlog in the criminal justice system. And here we are telling you people, Ugandans, you have that responsibility, and we are now going to trace the records and trace your sureties to show cause why you should not be ordered to forfeit these monies to the state, so that the state can use these funds to trace these people. Because for your role, you just came and you thought you had no responsibility. Now, case backlog has become a very, very, very stinger issue. We are being accused as a judiciary. We have done a research to understand what are these causes, and one of them is that you go to court, you think it is just a fashion to stand surety for somebody, and that person disappears, and then the case dies there. It does not die. Justice will not have been served because somebody has disappeared. You, a surety, your responsibility was to ensure he returns back. If you did not do that, you have a responsibility to find that person.
All right.
If you didn't, then forfeit these funds.
His Worship, James, as we come towards the conclusion of our conversation, I want us to go back to the main gist of our dialogue today, and that is refund of my cash bail. I know you hinted a little bit of the forms and the procedures, but let's go step by step. So how do I start the process of getting my cash back? Do I need to fill in somewhere? What are the procedures?
Step one.
Step one.
When the case is completed, the hearing of your case is completed, whether you are acquitted, found innocent, or convicted or found guilty of committing the offense, accused of committing, the moment the judgment is delivered, ask the presiding judicial officer. As long as you have been reporting and abiding by the bail terms, by the bail terms given by court. So step one, ask judicial officer, I say, Your Worship, oh my Lord, I deposited my 5 million cash bail. I'm applying for an order for a refund. The judicial officer will look at the records, and if they are satisfied, they will immediately give you an order for the bail refund.
This is after my case has been? After
your case has been completed.
So no matter the
outcome, good or bad. So secure that order. They will give you that order, and they should give you a copy of that order. Or give to your people, your relatives, your lawyers, if you have one, secure that order. Step two, after court, go to the court registry. You know the difference is when you're in a court hall where the case is being had, there is a court registry where the paperwork is done. Go to the court registry, request for this bail refund form. Now fill in your request. Then, that is now step two. Get the form, fill in your request. In the form, they'll ask you for an account number, because we don't want to receive cash. We also don't want to
pay back cash.
Pay back in cash. We don't want to touch cash. We don't want to be tempted. We want to move away from there. So, after filling, you provide a bank account where your money will be wired. So, step three, you have the order, you have the form, you have filled it. Get the other documents I told you about. Attach them. If you've taken your general receipt, get it, attach it. Your bail bond, the form showing that you've been reporting, attach them. As a matter of good practice, always keep copies of these documents. If they ask you to surrender, keep a photocopy. You never know when a file will be misplaced or something will happen, and we ask you, can you show us some evidence that you have these documents? So keep copies of those documents. Then now, after I've done all that, come to the registry and file those documents. If it is like in these courts which are operating online, you can even just scan and upload on the system, and it will be processed virtually.
Yes.
So once you surrender those, then we'll look at it. If you are satisfied, then we shall process your bail refund and your money will be seen on your account.
In no time?
It takes a bit of time. It can take maybe 5 days, because once the judicial officer has submit, because we submit now to accounts. We don't manage money. There's another office which manages money in the judiciary. So the judicial officer will endorse and submit your request, and then people in accounts will verify and then process. So it can take a couple of days. Yes. His
Worship, are there timelines for my refund? For example, if my case closed 10 years ago, I applied, I did the first steps. Is there a timeline? Is it after 10 years I can no longer receive that money?
No, there are no timelines. The only challenge you may face with time is the inability to have your original receipts for URA, for the court, and for the bond. But once you have the original receipts, the original bail bond form, the original URA receipt, the original court receipt, you can apply for bail. But if you don't have them, you can still swear a statutory declaration to that effect. But you should at least be remembering the PRN number. You get. So if you have lost your documents, please, you can come swear a statutory declaration. We attach to your application, send to the permanent secretary to the judiciary, to process your payment. So there's no timelines.
Could you kindly give us a recap of when this cash bail is non-refundable to me?
When is it non-refundable? One, it's non-refundable if it has been forfeited to the state. His Worship, let me told you that once you abscond, once, twice, a judicial officer shall note that cash bail forfeited to the state. We normally what we do when forfeit that cash bail to the state, we note before Akimis we would note in a red pen bail forfeited to the state. So we can never issue with that order, the bail refund order. We can never issue to any person where bail was forfeited to the state, and that's the only circumstance, by the way, when you cannot get your bail back. As long as you obey bail terms and conditions, you have kept all your documents, you enter to a bail refund.
Okay. Is there an option? Of course, you mentioned it earlier on, but His Worship James Mawanda, who are the key players in this process for the viewers, just to outline those people who are very important in
that's very important question, because we as a judiciary we have an anti-corruption strategy, and we have noticed that many of our Ugandans have lost money because they don't know the key players in the bail process. First and foremost, I want Ugandans to understand that bail is not a commodity for sale around the court. It isn't. It's not part of our services that we sell bail. Why do I say it's not a commodity on sale? Because we have people who masquerade around the courts. And before a court has pronounced itself on the issue of bail, people are already trading and exchanging money. And then you wonder. I want to tell you, Ugandans, that those are conmen extorting you money, and guard against them. The key players here are the judicial officer listening to your application and making a finding. We call it a decision or a ruling on your bail application. Will make a pronouncement. So look out for what the judicial officer, the magistrate or the judge seated in court, or if the application was handled in chambers, still the judicial officer handling that application will make a pronouncement, and the amount of money the judicial officer pronounces is the amount of money only that you should pick and proceed to pay, as my brother Festo has guided. If it is cash, and should the judicial officer tell you it is non-cash, not cash, then please know that the judicial officer has not ordered you to pay cash. The second person in the line will be the clerk, who will then pick the file from the court and forward it to the registry, where the paperwork will be done. Citizens, you have heard what the judicial officer said. Why then do you want to go away from what the judicial officer said, and then you are being confused in the corridors? We have told our judicial officers that some of the reasons why our people get confused is probably they don't hear us well. And we have told them, please, if it needs you to shout, shout out clear, loud enough for everybody to understand, and emphasize.
Indeed.
I have ordered a cash bail of 3 million shillings. Have you understood? Yes. I have ordered not cash. Emphasize. Judicial officers, please help our public to hear exactly what you said, because the goons around the courts take advantage of people who have not heard well, and that is very critical. So the cashier will give you the bank advice, because the judicial officer said cash, and the file was transmitted to the cashier, who will read that order and will then extract for you a bank advice to go and pay the money. Or if you are paying online, at that very moment, you will then know how much am I paying, and you pay online. You don't pay money to anyone around the court. I want to warn you, we have seen cases where people are running around claiming for bail refund, but when you ask them for the relevant documents, they have none.
Well,
in fact, the most biggest cries we have heard about people saying they have failed to get their refund is because they dealt with third parties, the enemy forces around us.
His Worship James Mawanda, because we have run out of time.
Sure.
Your last word.
My last word. I want to appeal to the general public that as a judiciary, this bail issue has reached highest proportions. The discussion and conversation is so high that our people, we have taken off time to ensure that we continuously educate you about bail. Every opportunity we get on any airwaves, we are telling people, the public, about bail. Indeed. Even in the barazas out there, outreaches, court open days, we are talking about bail. We are going to sensitize and we shall continue. But what are we asking you? We are simply saying that you please maintain your original documents, evidencing that money was paid as a result of an order of court, because this subsequently will support your claim. Secondly, we are saying insist on making online payments or in the bank. Please, after you have done that, obtain a receipt as proof of your payment. Because if you have unsupported documents or applications for refunds, we also find a challenge, because this money is processed through the existing processes, because the money you paid it in the bank. So still it will be the bank which will also verify that actually they received the money.
So indeed, so we have to, yes, pay, to stay vigilant.
And we are saying, please pay the amount that has been pronounced on record by the judicial officer. And we are saying, please, let us stand together and we fight these extortionists around the courts who are telling lies, and they are damaging the image of the judiciary and the judicial officers and our staff at these courts. Because there is that saying that I pay the money to court, even when they pay to another character around the court because they paid
some individual unknown.
Yes, they say,
the
I
High
paid
Court.
money to court. But who did you pay to? I've already elaborated that. I want to end with two things. To give our listeners our toll-free lines.
Of course.
Such that if you have any further questions outside these studios tonight, you can call and we shall answer you. We have two lines, and if you may allow me, I can read them.
Please.
We have 800-225587, and I'll repeat, 800-225587, and the second one is 800-111-900. I'll repeat it again. The second line is 800-111-900. Use those lines, they are toll free. Our staff, dedicated staff, are available 24 hours to answer any queries about bail and any other matter, by the way.
All right.
Which they want to know. And
we have officially run out of
finally,
time.
I want to assure the listeners that the judiciary is committed to ensuring transparency, quality, service delivery to Ugandans.
Indeed.
And 2025 is a year of reckoning. We want to serve you well.
Thank you.
Trust us. Let us work together.
Thank you so much, His Worship James.
May God bless you.
Jimire Mwanda, the Judiciary Public Relations Officer. Thank you, His Worship Ronald Kaizi, Chief Magistrate, Buganda Road, and His Worship Festo Nsega, Deputy Registrar, Criminal Division.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this wonderful dialogue. And thank you,
viewers, for
who has been watching us, the viewers back at home. Again, you can have a recap of this conversation on our website, that is www.ntv.co.ug. Go right there and look out for this conversation. It's important for you to know the procedures of how to apply for bail, what are the considerations, and when your case is cleared, how do you get your refund? Well, keep well and keep out of trouble so that you don't have to pay bail. Bye.